I think I've been too deep, to be honest with you. Been like venereal disease deep. I've been splattered and baby battered. There's a new trend about people calling out people they see wearing MAGA hats in Mexican restaurants. And I'm for it. Uh-oh. 4 months in a row, Kelly.
What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world.
You guys know it's a bad idea. I understand everybody's scared of fentanyl on the streets. But it's not a good idea to make fentanyl Schedule 1 narcotic. Fentanyl does have legitimate medical purposes. When you make it Schedule 1, you can't research it. You can't use it in a medical setting. Doctors can't use it anymore.
This is bigger than ourselves. We won't let the world burn away. Burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake it through the back of the pack. Kill it anyway. To blame. Haters face the world's mistakes. Wake it through the back of the pack. Kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the
Oh, I forgot to pause that.
But I can tell you this.
That's all right. We'll start it. Stop it there. All right. You guys ready? Are we here? Yeah, they even use it like anesthesia, epidural pain management for people who are resistant to morphine. Like his new Halts, whatever, is going to classify it as a Schedule 1. I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, I'm all for getting off the streets. I don't think people should be using it recreationally. I get it. The problem is, like, doctors should be able to use, like, it's very important for doctors to use it. Anyways, roll the intro.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show.
Yeah,
Thanks for
they can
watching.
last a real long time. You're right, Mona.
Peace out.
That's also true of it. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm Will Bird. This is the Cold Beer Confessional. Welcome, welcome. They can last a long time. Other medicine can do that too, but fentanyl has legitimate purposes. It's not like meth or some, you know what I mean? Like to make it Schedule 1, even meth has legitimate purposes with slight variations of meth, right? But anyways, it has legitimate medical purposes. Now it's going to be restricted from research. Be restricted from, schools can't get it and test it for different things or whatever. Doctors can't prescribe it. The HALT Act, I think is what it's called. The HALT Fentanyl Act at a White House ceremony from 7 hours ago. Trump signed a bill that classified it as a Schedule 1 narcotic. So he did it, was surrounded by families that had lost family members to it. And I hate that. It's an act to permanently classify fentanyl. Wait. Oh, wait. I might have said this wrong. Hold on. Because this article says fentanyl knockoffs. But the first article I read, it was just classify fentanyl as level 1. If that's true, then the street version of it, then fine. But it can still be manufactured in a medical setting. That'd be awesome. Oh my God. I don't know why stuff randomly plays. Fentanyl as Schedule 1. Officially classifies fentanyl as a Schedule 1 narcotic. Let's check and see. I guess I need to pull it up and read it.
4 long years, Joe Biden surrendered our borders to the most evil and vicious.
Trying to start it over. Hold on. There you go.
6 months ago, we came into office and inherited the worst drug crisis in American history by far. They did nothing. For 4 long years, Joe Biden surrendered our borders to the most evil and vicious traffickers, networks, and everything else on the planet Earth, allowing foreign drug cartels to carve out a massive footprint on American soil. We were doing nothing. This open borders nightmare flooded our country with fentanyl and with people that shouldn't be here, some of the worst people on earth, and illicit drugs decimated American communities.
Okay, it looks like they've created another class of drugs called fentanyl-related substances. And it makes a permanent classification of Schedule 1 for fentanyl-related substances. Harsher penalties for trafficking, streamlined research process. So maybe actual fentanyl, like lab produced fentanyl, is fine, and that would be fine with me. I can't find a fault in that. But it seems like even the news stories are like, some are like, yes, Trump made fentanyl a Schedule 1, and then other ones are like fentanyl lock. I don't know.
And left us with the largest law enforcement challenge in our country's history, and hopefully will always be the largest. I can't imagine anything being worse. They allowed millions and millions of criminals into our country, 11,888 murders, 50% of whom murdered more than one person. On day one of the Trump administration, we declared an all-out war on the dealers, smugglers, traffickers, and cartels. Within moments of taking office, I deployed the U.S. military to our border and unleashed the Patriot.
Okay, so it seems like it's bipartisan, by the way. It seems like what it's doing is they're taking the chemical compound of fentanyl, they're modifying it slightly and coming up with a new version of fentanyl. And then they're selling that and finding loopholes and saying, well, it's not the one that you classify as illegal. So what they're trying to do is close the whole loophole to where even if you take a fentanyl and edit it a little bit, that you can't get away with it not being illegal. So all fentanyl-related substances of street drugs, designer drugs that are made on the street. So that's a good thing. So maybe I spoke too soon.
Of ICE and Border Patrol to defend our country from an invasion. This was an invasion. This wasn't people coming in. This was an invasion of our country, allowed to happen by people either that didn't care or were just stupid people. Stupid people. I also designated the Mexican drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
There are groups that argue it may hinder research and potentially beneficial fentanyl-related substances, because now schools can't study analogs of fentanyl because they're Schedule 1.
Organizations. And within a few short weeks, believe it or not, if you remember, now we've even surpassed that, but we achieved the most secure border in U.S. history. And last month, we had the lowest number of illegal border crossings ever recorded. We had in June, the number was actually 0. Now, even I don't believe that, but we're going to take it. How can you go from hundreds of thousands to 0? But that's what they say.
Well, none of that's true. How many people believe in the last 50 years we've had 0 people cross our southern border?
And these are very liberal people that do the recording, so I think we're going to have to take it, but the number was 0 in June. Can't get much better than that, right? On day one, I signed executive orders to create new Homeland Security task forces, marshaling the full power of federal law enforcement to eradicate transnational criminal networks and traffickers from our soil. We wanted them out. 2 weeks ago, we secured the resources necessary to achieve that mission when I signed the One Big Beautiful Bill into law.
There you go. So it seems like he might have actually done a good thing. Bipartisan support. The only downsides of this is potentially other fentanyl-related substances won't be studied as much, and there could be beneficial ones. Yeah, it seems like that might be the only downside, and increased incarceration instead of addiction has a root cause. People don't want to be drug addicts. Increased incarceration sometimes doesn't really address what these root causes to addiction are, but that's a different argument, I guess. Hopefully that helps law enforcement somehow. I don't know. Okay. Now, big news time. So I was feeling really shitty yesterday because you guys know that I had my my VA higher level review, okay? And I was really pissed off during the show yesterday. I know I didn't show it, but we were covering Bart or whatever. I was really pissed off. And even today I was more upset because when I talked to the person who was doing my higher level review, they said they didn't tell me this, but just from hearing what they said, this is hard to say. Let's say I had doctor's appointment 1 and doctor's appointment 2. Doctor's appointment 1 went really bad. It was a horrible doctor's appointment. It didn't go in my favor. I got really upset. We only talked for like 18 minutes or something. And then she's like, I think I had enough because I think I scared her because I was pretty upset. It went really bad. Doctor's appointment 2 went really, really good. Doctor's appointment 2, the lady told me over the phone, she's like, absolutely, you qualify for 100%. Absolutely, you qualify for 100%. No problem. We're going to point this through. I'm going to do everything I can. If for some reason you don't get it, here's our next steps. Here's what you should do, blah, blah, blah. So what I did not get 100% after doctor's appointment 2. I got 70% for mental health. So I was doing the steps she told me to do. A higher level review, come back to her, talk to her, blah, blah, blah. So when I put in for the higher level review, what I needed to do was ask for a review of the decision made at doctor's appointment 2. That's what I needed to do my paperwork on. And through talking to the higher level review lady, when she said, this review is about blah, blah, blah from this date to this date, what I had actually done is when I had filed the review, I had actually filed a review on doctor's appointment 1, the decision made at doctor's appointment 1, 3 or 4 months earlier, 5 months earlier. So I had fucked up the paperwork. So as soon as she starts talking, I'm like, I might have fucked up. And she's like, oh no, what happened? And it's an informal interview. So it's just like you're talking to a buddy or a friend or whatever. She's like, I don't know what happened. I was like, well, I'm trying to get a review of doctor's appointment 2 and the decision that came from that. It sounds like I filed it for doctor's appointment 1. And she's like, yeah, you did. And I'm like, what does that mean? And she's like, oh, I can only use evidence from doctor's appointment 1 and back. From decision at doctor's appointment 1 and back. So I can't even look at the evidence in doctor's appointment 2. And I was pissed off because doctor's appointment 2 was my really good one that I wanted them to look at the evidence again on. So I told her some other issues I had about some date things that were messed up. And she's like, okay, yeah, we can see if we can look into that. I don't know if we can fix it or not, blah, 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 whatever. And I'm like, well, she's like, you also put down that you wanted a review of your rating, your decision rating. And I'm like, yeah, but since I filed it wrong, I was actually wanting a review of this rating that come with doctor's appointment 2. And since I filed it for doctor's appointment 1, I guess there isn't anything you can do. And she's like, I don't know. You never can tell. Sometimes there are. Let me pull up your record. She's like, no, it doesn't look like we have enough to do anything with that. She said, you told me it didn't go well. And I was like, yeah. She's like, there's probably not enough there for X, Y, and Z or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. That was yesterday. Okay. That was yesterday. So yesterday I was pissed off. I filed my paperwork wrong. It seems like the VA is doing their job, but still it pissed me off that I did it wrong and waited all this time, blah, blah, blah. She told me to wait till that one. I got a decision from that one, then I could refile because if I filed 2 at once, they might think it's a duplicate. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to confuse myself because this whole fucking trying to navigate this bureaucracy bullshit in the VA is hard anyways. And then to get confused, have two reviews going at the same time, that would have fucking freaked me out probably. So she made it sound, I felt like it went really bad. She made it sound like there really wasn't much that she could do, but she would look at it. Might as well. And then as soon as this review was over, I was going to have to refile and start over. Wait a few more weeks, talk to another person, probably go to another doctor, do the whole thing again. So I was pissed off last night and I was pissed off today. Now that review was just yesterday. Okay. Typically, she told me when she got off the phone with me, typically, when you have a higher level review, the best case scenario you can bet on is 2 weeks. Have a decision within 2 weeks. But she's like, don't hold me to that. Stuff comes up. Everyone's different. But usually you can hope for a decision within 2 weeks once you speak to me. It might be 6 months before you get to speak to me, but once you speak to me, the reviewer, I take it to my team. And I have a team of 6 people and they all specialize in something different. I'm the one who makes the decision, but I have a medical professional, a legal professional, and a blah, 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 a mental health professional or whatever. She's like, usually it takes 2 weeks. Don't hold me to that. But let's say you haven't heard anything for a month. Here's a number you can call just to check on it. I was like, okay. That was yesterday, chat. Yesterday. I was told to wait 2 weeks if I hadn't heard anything in a month. Check it. And I was told, hell, you're just going to have to refile, basically, because you fucked it up, which is true. I'm not blaming her. It's true that I fucked it up and filed wrong. Today, when I go to the VA website and sign in, I couldn't believe it that I actually got 100% permanent and total. And permanent and total means totally disabled, right? 100%. The permanent is a big deal because the permanent, not everybody gets permanent and total. So the permanent and total part of it, I shouldn't be, unless something drastic happens, like they catch me fucking, mine's like a mental health thing. Like, let's say they see me on Big Brother and I don't have any mental health issues or something. Like I'm on a reality show and I don't have any mental health issues. That might give me a review. But as long as I stay in my fucking lane and don't do anything wild or crazy or something like the bird curse happens, it should be guaranteed for as long as I live. So I am now 100% service connected, permanent and total, disabled. I have no idea about retroactive pay. The most that it would back up to, I wish I could back it up for the last fucking 5 years I've been doing this, but I let a lot of timelines lapse, and when I got pissed off, and one of them lapsed during the flood, so that happened. So the most that I could hope for them to back it up to would be back to November of this year. I'm sorry, of 2024. Which would be November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, 9 months, I guess. That's the most. But I won't know that until I get a letter, and it'll give me my effective date. Even if the effective date is today, at least I've got it, and I've got it locked in, and I'm good to go. And barring some kind of crazy fucking complication, I should be good. So then, even if there's no back pay, right? Even if there's no retroactive pay or whatever, fuck it. At least I got it locked in. I'm good to go. I can still work at my own pace. What I like about it is I was always planning on still working and doing things because I like to stay active when I can. But what I like about it is it's a safety net. So like if I am having crazy mental health episode or whatever, and I don't get out of bed for a fucking week, I don't have to think, oh, I've got to go or my fucking family's going to starve, right? It's a safety net, and hopefully it'll be there for the rest of my life. So that's where we're at, chat. I'm so excited. I was in tears. Like, I've been fighting the VA for years now. Like, I was in tears when I called Mariah. Mariah was out with her mom for celebrating Liam's birthday. And it's not a big deal. If you want to support the show, support the fucking show. And if you don't. Because I have a safety net now. And hopefully that stays there for a while. We'll see. That's where I'm at now. I just got approved for it. I don't know when the date of it is. I don't know when it's supposed to go into effect. I mean, at minimum, it should go into effect the next time I get paid, which should be, August? Because it's July now. I should get paid on August 1st. And we'll see what happens. So thank you for being there. Thank you for all your guys' help and keeping me motivated. There's so many times I wanted to fucking quit. I'm so glad the saga's over and all that's taken care of. And fuck Bert. Fuck Bert. I think he's scamming the VA. I'm going to call him and tell him. Thank you, Bert. I appreciate that. I appreciate the shit out of that. All right, you ready for little racist? Little funny, though. Little racist, little funny. Okay, now I can donate a sock to Bert. Yes. I am secure in my finances where I can donate a sock to Bert, finally. Also, there's a couple of you people that have made donations, like regularly, like monthly, especially since like the flood, that have kept us afloat. Without your all's donations, we wouldn't have made it this far. I blew through my savings. Since the flood to now, we spent every bit of the savings that we had saved up, which that's what it was for, like a rainy day fund or whatever. I hate not having at least, you know what, even if it's only a few $100s, I would rather have it be a few $1,000s, but I hate not having at least a little bit in the bank. What if you get a flat tire? You're just fucked. What if the car breaks down? You're fucked. You know, like I fucking hate that feeling. But we were flat broke. And some of you guys kept us basically going. So thank you for that. We do appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate it. All right. Slightly racist, but funny now. So this guy, it's a skit, but he's talking about dating now versus when his grandpa was dating.
You know your grandparents give you shit about not being married. Grandpa, you grew up in 1912, man. Okay? Just meeting grandma, half the battle. Know why? She only met 9 dudes her whole life. That's how it was. No competition. Didn't have to worry about black guys. I know it's fucked. A lot of my friends today are black. Okay? They're still wearing chains, Gramps. Okay? But what I'm going against, they get their gold now. Silver, diamonds, dancing. Those waving in front of your girl, hypnotize her like it's a spell. He goes, what's DMs? Want to know what DMs are? Every girl I know, it looks like my fantasy football team and their requests. I play in a 2-quarterback league, no defenses. So I asked you, Grandpa, was Grandma getting letters from a messenger pigeon saying, let me sailboat your ass out on the Mayflower? You want window or aisle all the way to Miami? No, because fucking Miami wasn't even discovered yet, okay? You were worrying about Jim in the town over? Just fucking hide the horse. How's she gonna get there? There's no maps. Or shoot Jim. Shoot him behind anything that's not see-through, and you're probably golden, okay? I mean, for fuck's sake, you just pretty much had to keep Grandma alive. Let's be honest. Keep her from the bubonic plague, smallpox, Captain Jack Sparrow, Hitler, and like, keep an eye on her she doesn't swallow a rock or something. Is that all you had to fucking do? It's a different league, Grandpa. It's a different league. You couldn't play in this league, Grandpa. I'm telling you. I'm sorry. I'm trying.
Grandpa, the black people, they still got chains, but now they're golds and silver. They got diamonds and shit. Captain Jack Sparrow, Hitler. What? Couldn't swallow a rock? That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
Azalea Banks just showed us on Twitter what Conor McGregor allegedly, seems pretty real, sent her in the DMs unsolicited. I mean, this man's never fighting again. He's not on the White House card. He's never fighting again. There was a weight attached to it.
What? What? There was a weight attached to his dick? How you going to send a bitch some crooked ass dick pics, then threaten her not to tell? Do you know who the fuck I am? This is harem. Don't be a rat, cause all rats get caught. Then one of them says lifting weights. Like, how you going to be sexually harass me with a potato farmer dick, then threaten me not to tell? Honey, ain't you trying to be the president of Ireland? What is it giving, fam? Use some fucking sunscreen, damn. One of them said lifting weights, and he had a weight attached to his dick. No messages had been exchanged between the two whatsoever. It just started with dick pics.
I wish I didn't see it, but it's journalistic integrity, a journalism thing. I have to. He sent a picture with a weight attached to it.
This is the pic right here, obviously, from like the stomach up, but that's the picture, him in his closet.
And said lifting weights. Bro. This was unsolicited. It was in the requests. I don't even know what to say.
Wow. Wow, dude. With weights on it? Oh my God, it is crooked. Sorry, I just saw it. That he fucking around a corner, dude. With weights? Some of y'all more fucked up than me. Someone said this is what everyone is freaking out over. Beautiful pic, bro. Dog just ruined his career. Yeah, probably. You know this isn't the first part. Like he doesn't just send unsolicited dick pics to the very first person, right? Like he sent this, what, hundreds of people? I send dick pics to all kinds of women, but I got like the lights set up right. I got the perfect angle. It's got to be from like below. And then like some type of like mystery chair you're sitting in that causes a little bit of intrigue. I don't know about the weights. Anyways, Sherry thought she was going to fuck with me today. Sherry M thought she was going to fuck with me today. So, someone was posting on Twitter, and they said they were basically upset about the Epstein thing. Okay? Like, I thought he was here for us, not for billionaires. And I went in the comments and I said, look, I voted for Trump in 2016. I fell for he's for the little guy. He's going to take care of us. You know, job sucks, life sucks, everything sucks. This guy says he can make it. I fell for that. And I've been telling you guys for years, yes, he's got a good PR team. Yes, he claims that he's here for you. He's doing it for the little guy. He's doing this, blah, 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 for the forgotten white American or whatever the fuck you are. Yes, people fall for it. But if you look at his actions, he might give us a little something, right? The lower classes. But if you look at his overall actions, they're definitely for the wealthy. He's for billionaires. He's for billionaires. He's blaming immigrants, and he's fucking you. And I felt like I had a real chance to like engage this person and they did. They responded and said, yeah, I know you used to be a big Trump supporter, and you've been telling us you're right. The whole thing seems like, a setup, and I can't believe it, blah, blah, blah. So the sentiment is turning against Trump. Then this bitch comes out of nowhere and he's like, isn't this the guy that Phil paid to be quiet, to not talk about Phil anymore? So the person asks him, no, where did you hear that? And they're like, I don't know. It was something about something else, and I don't even know if it's true or not. So I began to ask them, like, are you stupid? No, I cover Phil like I've always covered Phil since he came on the internet. The problem only appeared when I covered Phil and Nick. You guys pretended like you had to pick one or the other, and they couldn't both be assholes. They're both fucking assholes. And they're like, hey, I'm just asking questions here. And I tried to explain to her, I said, imagine if I went to one of your posts or a comment, a big account's post that you commented in, and I said, isn't this a Sherry who adopts foster children and then fucks them to death while her husband watches from the cracked closet door? And then when you get mad and like, I don't fuck kids, I say, I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. I tried to explain, and then she's like, well, you're getting so mad. Your replies are very telling. So I put a post on Facebook, or I'm sorry, on Discord and on Twitter. And I'm like, go there and invent stuff that Sherry did. And just be like, isn't this, I said, don't actually accuse her of anything saying, hey, you fuck dogs or something. But say, isn't this the Sherry? Is this the same Sherry that got busted fucking all those dogs from the pound? Like you would adopt a new dog and then fuck it and then bring it back and get a different dog, like trade it in and fuck that dog? Like shit like that, right? And here's what we got tonight. So she says Trump's Truth Social, blah, blah, blah. Trump's Truth Social post today was a complete slap in the face. This is the This is her most recent one. This is the one I told everybody to go to. Was a slap into the face to his supporters. We have been here a very long time. And to be spoken to this way, sorry, that doesn't sit well with me. Do I still support him? I don't know right now. He's pissed me off.
Including a bunch of parents whose children have died from opioid
God
overdoses.
damn it.
Standing
Stop
right He's spit.
playing random videos in the background. Project Veritas says, I prayed that God, the good Lord would help me find you, and here you are. I heard a bunch of rumors, including one that you were caught selling loofahs out of the back of your golf cart. They weren't even sustainably sourced. For shame. You're that Sherry, right? Are you the same cunty Sherry that committed the most heinous crime in your town? Are you the same Sherry that got busted for carnal acts with canines a few years back? That could be one. Are you the Sherry that had the profile pic that you appeared to have a strapless top or a topless pic with your cute little dog? Adorbs. Hey, are you the same Sherry who is in love with Derek Johnson? Aren't you the chick that blows Phil and licks Carrie's clit? Holy shit. That escalated quickly. Are you the same Sherry M from that truck stop wall graffiti? And is it cheaper if I don't want the donkey to come along? That's a pretty good one. Is it cheaper if I don't need the donkey? Hi, are you the same Sherry that I know who is committing the most heinous crime in our town? Those sunglasses are hiding your eyes, but you kind of look like that Sherry. How can you not know if you still support him? He called you magatards, losers, weaklings, dumb, and naive. Trump loves himself and only himself, and always thought his blind supporters were dumb fucks. And then Bankentry is coming in hard with a, are you the same Sherry that was eating corn on the cob the long way at the farmer's market last weekend? I think it was. Your probable spam. I don't know why I put some people in probable spam. We're teaching Sherry a lesson, okay? I even told her at one time, I was like, look, you obviously wouldn't want people asking these crazy questions about you with no evidence. You don't even know the details. You don't know who said it, what proof there was. You just randomly put it in there. And now everybody that comes to this comment section is going to see you accusing me of being paid off by Phil Godlewski. Like, that's bullshit. I was like, now you know the answer. It didn't happen. Directly from me, delete it. And she blocked me. I was like, all you got to do is delete it. But now we're teaching Sherry a lesson. And that lesson is, are you the Sherry that, you guys can get on the fun. It's the link's posted on Discord if you want to fuck with it. Are you the Sherry that, by the way, it was very funny. I made a post. I said, trying to explain it to her about the husband, about her fucking foster children to death while her husband watches from a cracked closet door. And then when she gets upset, I said, I'm just asking questions. I tried my best to explain this to her. And then she said my responses were very telling. Laugh out loud. That dumb foster kid fucking bitch. Thank you. I know I'm hilarious. Anyways, this is Sherry M, friend of the show, that has me blocked. Will Bird, Cold Beer Confessional, you kind of outed yourself there, dude. How would I? You've got me blocked. How did I out myself? How did I out myself? I think you may be confused. Apparently, Will has a cult following. What does that remind me of? You guys are funny. Thanks for the giggle. Now tell Will to settle down now. Did I have to block you or did you have to block me? Which one was it? Which one actually happened there? Hard to say. Anyways, thanks for your help with Sherry. Make sure we continue to teach Sherry a lesson. I think it's bullshit that people say the craziest fucking shit about people. Wild shit. Stuff that would have people like thrown in jail. Like, isn't this the guy who just fucks kids? And they're like, where did you get that? I heard it from somebody else. I'm just asking a question. It's just a question. It's not just a question. You're a piece of shit. It's not a question. You're a piece of shit. Obviously, it's loaded, right? When other people read that, they're going to think, wow, is this true? And no one's going to go research it. No one's going to say, oh, I think this isn't true because blah, blah, blah. What the fuck? Anyways. People are dumb, and then you die or whatever. So here we are. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for helping me with her. Sorry, I was reading a MAGA response to one of my posts. All right, what else we got? I'm so excited about my disability finally settling.
You've been lied to. We did tax the rich. We taxed them hard, actually, up to 94%. And no, it didn't kill the economy. It literally saved it. So why doesn't anyone talk about that? Because billionaires don't want you to know that it actually worked. Every time you talk about taxing the rich, there's always the people that say the same things. That's not fair. They'll just leave. They earned it. This won't fix anything. It'll just hurt jobs. But the truth is, we've already tested this. We taxed the rich hard, and it built the most prosperous era in U.S. history. Here's exactly what happened. In the 1940s, President Franklin D. Roosevelt raised the
I almost think that maybe instead of upping the tax rate for the wealthiest, maybe we do something that is a salary multiple. Like CEOs can only make like fucking 8 or 9 or 10 times what their lowest paid employee makes, and that's it.
the top federal income tax
5 times, whatever.
Yes, I know that number sounds crazy, so let me explain. That didn't mean that people were losing 94% of the income that they had earned. That's called a marginal tax rate, and it only applied to income above a certain threshold. In 1944, the 94% tax rate only applied to income above the $200,000 income threshold. So essentially like making, I don't know, $3.5 million today. So that means that you would pay the normal rate on the first couple million, and only the income above that would be taxed at this 94%.
What I don't understand about Trump is this actually benefits Trump's plan, because Trump is the guy that's like, you got to come to America. So they always claim like, if you tax them that much, they'll just leave America. Cool. Then they can't do business here. That is your plan, right? If they're not in America, they can't do business here anyways. That's your slogan. That's what you say all the time.
And I feel like that's the part that nobody ever really explains, and the billionaires count on that confusion to protect themselves. So what did this money pay for? It paid for the New Deal, including Social Security. It paid for massive public jobs programs during the Great Depression. It paid for all of World War II. It paid for the GI Bill, which sent 8 million veterans to college. It paid for the interstate highway system. It paid for the original versions of Medicare and Medicaid. It paid for public universities, hospitals, housing, and scientific research. And one-income households could actually afford a house, a car, and a vacation. And all of that happened when the richest of Americans were paying between 82 and 94% on
Stop income tax like Vegas. I don't know about Vegas. We don't have income tax in Tennessee.
their highest income. And guess what? The economy fucking boomed. And then came the 1980s. Reagan slashed the top tax rate from 70% down to 20%. And what happened? Wages stopped growing, middle class started shrinking, the CEO pay exploded, billionaires hoarded record wealth, and income inequality has skyrocketed ever since. So no, this is not some coincidence. The second we stopped taxing the rich, everything started falling apart for the working people. So let's shut down the excuses one by one. But that's not fair. You know what's not fair? Is billionaires using things like public roads, public schools, courts, police, and workers, and then hiding their wealth in offshore accounts and shell companies, you know.
Or paying themselves repeatedly in stocks, right? And then using those stocks for loans and then never paying any income tax whatsoever.
To avoid paying taxes. They didn't get rich alone. They used a system that the rest of us paid for to get to where they were. But they'll leave the country. Nope, try again. The U.S. taxes worldwide income. So even if they do move, they will still owe money. And when France passed a wealth tax, fewer than 1% of rich people actually left. Because be so fucking for real right now. Do you really think that these billionaires are going to be giving up their Manhattan condos and their media empires over a 2% wealth tax? Let's be fucking serious. It'll hurt jobs though. The biggest job booms in American history from the 1940s to the 1970s all happened while the rich were taxed the most. Because back then it made more sense to invest in your workers rather than spending millions on stock buybacks. But it won't raise enough money. False again. A 2% wealth tax on people worth more than $50 million would raise around $3 trillion in 10 years.
I think they've always known that trickle-down economics just doesn't work, right? Like everybody could have food and housing and healthcare, but instead we have like fucking 8 people that have more money than fucking God.
And if we also did things like, I don't know, taxing capital gain like income, closed estate tax loopholes, and remove the Social Security income cap, we could raise over $10 trillion without ever touching the middle class. Oh, and with that money, we could easily pay for things like, I don't know, universal childcare, tuition-free public college, canceling all student debt, national paid family leave, a real national housing strategy, fully funded Social Security and Medicare, public transportation upgrades, climate infrastructure, and real reparations programs. I don't know. All of that without raising taxes for real everyday working people, just by taxing the extremely wealthy people, you know, like we fucking used to do. And these billionaires would still have way more money than they could ever know what to do with or spend. So no,
that's what I think the biggest problem is. People don't understand what billionaires are. Like, I try to use that thing where you could pay yourself fucking $20 million a month for fucking 80 years or whatever.
The rich is not this new radical idea. This is how America used to work. It built the middle class, it won wars, and it gave millions of people real stability. And when we stopped, the system broke. Wages froze, prices soared, and the rich kept everything. So when they say we can't afford to tax the rich, what they really mean is we don't want to share. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm sick of sitting here fighting over breadcrumbs at the bottom of the table when somebody else is eating the entire feast. Fucking wake up, people.
It's one thing to be able to work your ass off and to be able to make it in the American dream and blah, 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 right? Even go up like an income class. But that's just not feasible for the vast majority of people. Even if you do work your ass off, you're still struggling. It's still paycheck to paycheck. A whole group of people are still never going to be able to afford a home. Like, then what? Then how do you keep these people working? How do you keep them going after it? How do you keep them trying to show up every day, do the best, work their ass off, because they're not working for anything? They're not going anywhere. Nothing's happening. Insane. Conor McGregor's dick pics. That was pretty wild. What else we got? I found an account called Grok versus MAGA. And it is where, you remember how I told you I love these and somebody should make an account about it? Well, here we go. Grok versus MAGA. It is when people try to use Grok to make their point, but they just get fucking owned. They get fucking folded in the comment section. It's a robot voice reading it, so bear with that.
Minneapolis mayoral candidate Omar Fatah calls Somalia our home even though he is born and raised here. I defy anyone to list even one way that the United States has benefited from Somalian immigration. Just one benefit. Go ahead. Grok, in what ways has United States benefited from Somalian immigration? Somali immigration has benefited the U.S. through economic contributions like $164 to $394 million in purchasing power and 600 businesses in Minnesota 2006 data. It adds cultural diversity, entrepreneurship, and political representation, for example, Representative Ilhan Omar. However, challenges include high unemployment 47% in Minnesota 2010 and integration issues per census and studies. Grok, so they don't actually benefit America because they take more than they give. While initial fiscal costs are high due to welfare reliance, for example.
So they don't benefit Americans, they take more than they give. While initial fiscal costs are high due to welfare reliance, 54% poverty rate in Minnesota, long-term data shows refugees like Somalis pay $21,000 more in taxes than benefits received over 20 years.
54% poverty rate in Minnesota. Long-term data shows refugees like Somalis pay $21,000 more in taxes than benefits received over 20 years NBER. They add $164 to $394 million in purchasing power and 600 businesses in Minnesota, yielding net economic benefits despite integration hurdles. Grok, so the benefit is so small it's negligible. While the per-refugee net fiscal benefit, $21,000 over 20 years per NBER, may seem modest individually, it scales to $123 billion nationally over 15 years ASP. For Somalis in Minnesota, 600-plus businesses and rising workforce participation yield growing economic value, offsetting initial welfare costs, far from negligible. Grok, $123 billion, is not worth sacrificing our sovereignty or culture for. Economic benefits like the $123 billion net fiscal gain ASP must be weighed against valid concerns on integration. Somali immigrants enrich U.S. diversity via businesses and cuisine, but challenges include cultural clashes, high welfare use 54% poverty in Minnesota, and assimilation hurdles, for example, youth mental health per studies. Sovereignty is preserved through policy, culture evolves, it's a trade-off debate. Crazy how they somehow enrich America but can't enrich their home country. Somalia's civil...
Grog just keeps coming back and owning them. Crazy how they can enrich our country but can't enrich their own. Well, they've been in a civil war since 1991.
Since 1991, corruption and weak institutions World Bank stifle economic potential at home. While U.S. stability enables Somali immigrants entrepreneurship and contributions, for example, 600 Minnesota businesses. It's not crazy. Environment matters. Yet, this brain drain worsens Somalia's plight, per migration studies. Net U.S. gain, but valid sovereignty concerns remain.
I want to see this whole account now. That's the only video I've seen from him so far, but this is an amazing account. Let's see their most viewed videos. 1.5 million.
Guess who doesn't have naturalization papers? At Grok, does Zoran Mamdani have naturalization papers? Zoran Mamdani is a naturalized U.S. citizen since 2018, as confirmed by his official biography. There is no evidence suggesting his naturalization was fraudulent. Claims questioning his citizenship, like those in recent X posts, appear politically motivated, lacking legal basis. U.S. law allows citizenship revocation only for fraud or specific post-naturalization acts, none of which are substantiated here. Using his biography as an unbiased source. At Elon Musk is Grok a legal expert? The woke folk got to Grok. The entire training database is badly corrupted. I'm not a legal expert, but I aim to provide facts based on available data. Zoran Mamdani's biography, supported by sources like the New York State Assembly and BBC, confirms his U.S. citizenship since 2018. Claims to revoke it, citing the Communist Control Act, lack legal grounding, as the act is largely unenforced. My training data is designed to prioritize evidence over bias, but I'll encourage cross-verifying with primary sources. No evidence suggests corruption in my responses. Always check multiple outlets for clarity. Dear at GROK. The BBC is so not a reliable source of information. Neither is the NY Assembly. Do better. I understand your skepticism about the BBC and NY Assembly as sources. While they are generally reliable for factual data like Zoran Mamdani's 2018 U.S. citizenship, confirmed by multiple outlets like NPR.
I love when it owns them like 4 or 5 times in a row, and they keep trying to wave it off like, I don't even trust those sources. They're not reliable.
Political claims challenging his status, such as those citing the Communist Control Act, lack legal evidence and seem driven by ideological opposition. Always cross-check primary documents or official records when possible. If you have specific concerns about these sources, could you share more details? None of these sources are reliable. None of them. Research further. I understand your skepticism about source reliability. Zoran Mamdani's U.S. citizenship since 2018 is supported by the New York State Assembly's official records and reports from NPR and BBC. These align with primary data, which carries weight, though no source is beyond scrutiny. Claims
It's almost like he's a U.S. citizen and you're just a racist piece of shit, but what would I know?
Citizenship, like those from the New York Young Republican Club, lack evidence of fraud or legal grounds for revocation. Political motives seem to drive these challenges. Without specific evidence of unreliability, dismissing all sources is tough to justify. Digging deeper into primary records or legal filings could clarify further. What specific issues do you see with these sources? Guess who doesn't have naturalization papers?
All right, let's check out the next one.
Hey,
they could do better. They could do better
Grok,
without the robot voice, or have a better robot voice, but still it works.
GROK, what percentage of the U.S. population has an IQ below 85? How many million people? About 16% of the U.S. population has an IQ below 85, based on standard IQ distributions with a mean of 100 and a standard deviation of 15. With a 2025 U.S. population of roughly 347 million, this equates to approximately 55 million people. Note that IQ tests have faced criticism for potential cultural biases and may not fully capture all aspects of intelligence. By cultural bias, you mean whites and Asians score higher than black and brown people. Is that right?
Ooh.
Grok, yes, cultural bias in 1Q tests can contribute to whites and Asians scoring higher than black and brown people. Tests often favor Western cultural knowledge, and standardization samples may underrepresent minorities. Socioeconomic factors like education access also play a role, with studies showing up to 30-point gaps linked to economic disadvantage. However, some argue differences persist even after accounting for these factors, suggesting other influences, though genetic explanations lack consensus. The issue is complex and debated, with ongoing efforts to create fairer tests. Hey at Grok, isn't it weird that Asians don't seem to have trouble with Western cultural knowledge, but African Americans who have lived in the West their entire lives struggle? The question question touches on complex factors influencing 1Q test performance. Asians often score higher than African Americans due to cultural emphasis on education, higher socioeconomic status, and immigrant selection effects, which may offset cultural bias in tests. African Americans face historical barriers like segregation, impacting education and opportunities, potentially
Grok is woke.
lowering scores.
Look out.
Factors are debated but lack consensus, with environment being the primary explanation. Effort and stereotype threat also play roles, with Asians benefiting from positive stereotypes and African Americans facing negative ones. The issue resists simple answers, blending cultural, historical, and socioeconomic influences. At Grok, do you feel bad about lying just to cover up the genetically lower IQs of black people? Endless jumping to new excuses after each one is
Lying about just to cover up the genetically lower IQs of black people. Endless jumping to new excuses after each one is debunked is pathetic. You should feel bad.
debunked is pathetic. You should feel bad. I don't lie. One aim for truth based on evidence. The claim that IQ differences between racial groups are primarily genetic lacks strong support. Most research points to environmental factors, education, socioeconomic status, and cultural biases in IQ tests as the main drivers of observed gaps. No specific genes have been found to explain these differences, and the scientific consensus leans heavily on systemic influences. The idea of genetic determinants.
The enforcer wanted to know if she could be on your dick pic list. Yeah, I'll do what I can.
Determinism is controversial and often tied to weak evidence. I stick to what the data shows, not assumptions. If you have specific studies suggesting otherwise, I can look into them. That's a lie. Grok, your data is manipulated.
Rage bait. Rage bait.
Grok, COVID-19 vaccines did not save a single life, and they caused millions of sudden and unexplained deaths. Scientific evidence from CDC, WHO, and studies in the
Oh, God, they're going to go for COVID?
Vaccines saved over 20 million lives globally by reducing severe illness and death. Excess mortality is linked to the virus, healthcare delays, and other factors, not vaccines. Claims of millions of vaccine-caused deaths lack substantiation and are debunked by safety data. Bullshit. While skepticism is valid, data from the Lancet, CDC, and WHO estimate COVID-19 vaccines saved 14 to 20 million lives globally by reducing severe cases. Excess deaths correlate more with the pandemic's impacts than vaccines. Share your sources for discussion. Grok, you're parroting published lies, not the truth. I appreciate your concern.
What do you watch, mainstream media, Grok?
Extensive data from sources like the Lancet, CDC, and WHO show COVID-19 vaccines saved 14 to 20 million lives by reducing severe cases. Excess deaths align with pandemic waves, not vaccination rates. High-vax countries have lower excesses. Claims of vaccine caused millions of deaths lack causal evidence and are debunked. What sources inform your view? Grok, what % increase in cancer cases has there been since 2020 globally? Global cancer cases rose about 3.6% from 19.3 million in 2020 to 20 million in 2022, with gradual increases projected due to population growth, aging, and risk factors like obesity and pollution. No credible evidence links this to COVID-19 vaccine.
This turbo cancer, that doesn't even sound real. Why do you guys keep saying that? Turbo cancer.
Turbo cancer claims are debunked myths. Grok, what % increase has there been in cancers globally from the year 2020 to 2025? Based on I.A.R.C, Globocan data and projections, global new cancer cases rose from 19.3 million in 2020 to 20 million in 2022. For 2025, estimates project about 21.3 million, a 10.4% rise from 2020, driven by population growth, aging, and lifestyle factors. No evidence links this to COVID-19 vaccines. Such claims are debunked myths. No evidence, yet most of these cancers are happening in the young. Grok, COVID-19 vaccine.
Most of them's happening in the young because I said so. What the fuck? Shit's wild, dude. The way they get so mad at Grok. And then fucking Elon Musk went to reprogram it and it started calling itself Mecha Hitler. Did you guys see that when he was running around saying it was Mecha Hitler and it had the final solution and all that shit after he reprogrammed it? I don't think we covered it, but goddamn, dude. That shit was wild. Wild.
The disgusting story of Trump model management. Reason number 2, Donald Trump is definitely on the list.
Shedding
Let's
tomorrow.
get this out of the way. Everything here is fully sourced, documented, and supported by multiple news outlets, witnesses, and victims on the record. In 1999, after witnessing firsthand the access John Casablancas had to young girls, Trump and a certain New York financier each separately opened their very own modeling agencies.
What is the who is the other New York financier that opened a modeling agency at the exact same time as Trump after they both went to Casablanca's and saw all the young girls that he had there through his modeling agency? Who is that financier that also opened a modeling agency the exact same day as Donald Trump did? Who was that?
Firsthand the access John Casablancas had to young girls, Trump and a certain New York financier each separately opened their very own modeling agencies. Donnie targeted young foreign models, some as young as 14, promising stardom, then flew them to New York on fraudulent visas. A favorite trick of Donnie's, even as he now throws others in detention camps for doing the exact same thing. The girls were packed 6 to a room in bunk beds inside a grimy downtown apartment. Trump charged them $1,600 a month for their bunk, plus fees, management, boarding, admin, and limousine fees for rides they never asked for, but were told they had to take.
What do you think he made them do in their modeling agency? He took them to like modeling shoots and put them in front of like people in modeling or fucking magazine producers or editors or in ad agencies. Nope. He had them go eat dinner with other wealthy men he knew and told them to flirt with them.
Model Alexia Palmer, brought over as a minor, earned just $3,800 over 3 years. Another Rachel Blair.
After paying for her room and board, she earned $3,800 over 3 years.
For 3 years. Another, Rachel Blay, called the experience modern-day slavery.
He says the cartels literally run Mexico and the politicians are afraid to go into their offices. Then I watched Trump's meeting with the Crown Prince.
That keeps playing automatically. I had to close one of them.
Trump called the experience modern-day slavery. But worse still, Trump would send these women to business dinners.
Him and Epstein are the two that opened these model agencies on the exact same fucking day.
With powerful older men. The girls were given liquor. Dinners with powerful older men. The business dinners send these women to but worse still, Trump would send these women to business dinners with powerful older men. Trump would send these women to business dinners with powerful older men. Trump would send these women to business dinners with powerful older men.
This is all documented.
The girls were given liquor and encouraged to flirt in order to keep their jobs. These weren't fashion insiders, just wealthy men that Donnie knew, who were 2 to 3 times their age. Let's review. Donnie recruited vulnerable underage girls, isolated them from their family.
By the way, this was Trump Modeling Agency, or T Management. I'm sorry, Trump Model Management, or T Management for short. And in 2014, there was a lawsuit brought by Alexia Palmer, and she claimed that 80% of her wages that she earned as a model under T Management were garnished for her living expenses. She made $3,800. This is $3,900 for 2 years. He flew over 250 young girls over here internationally and got them basically fraudulent visas. In 2016, several Trump models alleged that they had worked for the agency without the company having obtained any proper visas on their behalf. The only reason his modeling agency closed down was because he was elected president. This was recent. This is not like old news or grab him by the pussy or whatever. He closed it because he was inaugurated as president.
Coached them to lie on visas. He recruited vulnerable outsiders, just wealthy men that Donnie knew, who were 2 to 3 times their age. Let's review. Donnie recruited vulnerable underage girls, isolated them from their families, coached them to lie on visas, crammed them into bunk rooms, charged them so much that some actually ended up owing Donnie money, and then sent them off to entertain rich older men. Sound familiar?
Trump's on the list. Trump's on the list.
The insane story of Lil Donnie's deposition in the E. Jean Carroll case. Reason number 3 that Donnie is on the list. In the early 90s, Donnie assaulted E. Jean Carroll in the Bergdorf Goodman dressing room. This has been legally adjudicated twice. It is, in the eyes of the law and reality for that matter, an established fact. In 2023, his deposition in this case was unsealed, and in it were some truly, truly insane statements from
I think the reason people trusted him is because he used to do the pageants, right? And he's married to a model
who sees women as usable objects. He couldn't remember the date of any of his marriages. He couldn't identify his own wife in a photo. He told the lawyer questioning him that she wouldn't be his choice to have sex with under any circumstances.
He said today that he doesn't know why Biden appointed Jerome Powell to the Fed, the Federal Reserve. He appointed Jerome Powell. Not Biden. He did it. And he's like, I don't know why Biden would put him there. He's such a bad guy. I don't know why Biden did that. You did that.
The date of any of his marriages. He couldn't identify his own wife in a photo. He told the lawyer questioning him that she wouldn't be his choice to have sex with under any circumstances. It was truly unhinged. But the worst and most damning statement over his own lawyer's objections, he said, out loud with full conviction, that he believes E. Jean Carroll found his sexual assault to be something she loved and found sexy. Leaving aside that this is an admission that he did assault her against her will, it's just an insane claim to make. He truly believes that none of his rapes are rapes, that every single woman he's ever forced himself on wanted it. That is why he is, without a doubt, definitely on the list. The insane story of Lil...
Definitely on the list. Yeah, he was appointed by Trump. So it's only, they do 4-year terms, so I'm sure that Biden extended it, but he was originally appointed. He was a Trump pick. Even if Biden extended it, you can't get away from you put him there. That doesn't make any fucking sense. I think it bothers him because he can't threaten the guy. He can't get rid of. There's nothing he can do. There's nothing he can do. Wait him out.
What the fuck is Operation Excalibur? Donnie has been pretty upset that the citizens of Los Angeles don't want him flooding their streets with armed military personnel. So he took it upon himself to order a full military incursion on a public park near downtown LA. The Army and the National Guard planned this event, which means Los Angeles has had 3 branches of the military roaming their city, and they pulled in at least 9 federal agencies to be a part of it. ICE, Border Protection, Homeland Security Investigations, the FBI, the DEA, the ATF, the U.S. Marshals, the Federal Protective Service, and for some fucking reason, the IRS. They rolled out this massive undertaking, costing an estimated $5 million in a horribly miscommunicated manner. The Army seemingly got lost on the way in, arriving half an hour late. And the funniest part? The park was completely empty, save for the 100
Wait a second.
federal agents. Donnie has been pretty upset.
Wait a second. I want to say it again.
Of Los Angeles don't want him flooding their streets with armed military personnel. So he took it upon himself to order a full military incursion on a public park near downtown LA. The Army and the National Guard planned this event, which means Los Angeles has had 3 branches of the military roaming their city, and they pulled in at least 9 federal agencies to be a part of it. ICE, Border Protection, Homeland Security Investigations, the FBI, the DEA.
I love the AI images.
The U.S. Marshals.
The AI images make it fucking perfect.
The Federal Protective Service, and for some fucking reason, the IRS. They rolled out this massive undertaking, costing an estimated $5 million in a horribly miscommunicated manner.
I weeded it for like fucking 6 hours today, so I'm fucking feeling it. We'll probably wrap up soon.
The Army seemingly got lost on the way in, arriving half an hour late. And the funniest part? The park was completely empty save for the 190 federal agents and military who stood around aimlessly. No arrests were made, no one was detained, but at least Customs and Border Protection got to take their horses out for a walk. As funny as this is, it's also deeply disturbing. The Army, in leaked internal documents, labeled the threat that civilians posed as high. Their deployment included warnings that they may end up in a firefight with hostile civilian resistance. They came prepared to, in their words,
yeah, my back is hurting. Actually, there's a thing. I don't know how much you guys ever weed eat. Let's finish this video and I'll show you.
Respond with lethal force to civilians. That's where we're at. The Army, at the direction of Donald Trump, planned to kill civilians. What the fuck is Operation X?
Plan to kill civilians. I didn't read the leaked documents, but I do know that in the Army, they make you prepare for everything. So, right, so you'll prepare for like a heat casualty, and you'll prepare for a sprained ankle, and you have to write about it and talk about it, and blah, blah, blah. Just like when they raided Mar-a-Lago, and they said the FBI had a plan to kill Donald Trump. No, this was a plan if for some reason we're fired upon by whoever. This is how we're going to respond. This is our fire team. This is where we evac. This is where we do that. The Army does the same thing. So I don't know if it actually said, hey, we're expecting to meet armed resistance, or if it said, hey, if we get hit. You know what I mean? If somebody shoots at us, if this happens. So if you weed eat a lot, this is just something you learn on my show for weird reasons. There's a product. Now this one's expensive, but there's a bunch of knockoffs. It is called the Darwin's Grip. Okay? The Darwin Grip. It is where are pictures of it? It is an extendable grip that goes partway down your weed. Do they not have better pictures of this? I'll just look it up. Hold on. This one's expensive. It's like $50, $60, but there are knockoffs. And it goes partway down the shaft and keeps you upright while you're weed eating. Plus, you can still flip it over and edge with it if that's something you like to do. Here it is in use. So it's this grip that goes lower down at a more balanced spot because you already have your hand back here and keeps you upright. And you know how, like when you weed eat for hours, you're, at least me, I'm 6 foot tall. I'm slightly bent over the whole time. So every 10 minutes, I got to stand up and kind of just straighten my back for a minute, and then I can go back at it. Well, this keeps you straight all the time. I need to buy one for our current weed eater. We had these on all of our weed eaters. A couple landscaping companies that I've worked for or done work for or whatever, they all had them. It seems to be like everybody knows it in the landscaping world, but it seems like homeowners don't know it, which maybe you guys don't weed eat enough for it to be a concern. But you can go and look. Like the Darwin Grip is probably like $60, but here's like one for 18, 20, 30, 25. Like there's a bunch of knockoff versions of it now. It used to be Darwin was the only one that made it. But it's a really good grip to keep your back straight. Here's a video on it, maybe. TikTok video. If you're going to be weed eating for more than like 20 minutes a week, it's definitely worth it. I don't know about that music, but music was wild. See him using it. He's got it set up there. See how he's bent over holding the hoop? I don't even like the biplane handles or whatever, or the bicycle, whatever they call them. the 2 handles with the trigger. I don't even like that. I prefer this hoop. I prefer this stance when I'm weed eating. But the grip is wrong. So that's him bent over. But when he grabs the grip, he can stand straight up. So that should be all you need to see. Like especially if you're weeding a bunch of fence line or something where you're just doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, and you can't ever fucking stand up straight. So get a knockoff of a Darwin grip. It's basically straight, then it's bent, and then it's got a handle at the top, and that's it. And it gives you a thing to attach to any tube of any weed eater. Look at the difference in the pictures. Like you can tell, obviously this would be more comfortable than bent over, right? So that's bent over and then stood up using 2 different grips. So there's something you learn. Whether you wanted to or not, now you know about weed eating for hours. I was pissed off. The reason I weeded it all fucking day today, I didn't have to, but I was pissed off about my disability call yesterday. So I'm like, fuck it. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to see nobody. I'm just going to go fucking weed eat for 6.5 hours or whatever it was. Fuck it. Couple things here. I want you to watch this video first and see how comfortable Fox News is getting with the word Nazi. Why? How the fuck can this dude say the blacks and it sounds like he used a hard R?
This is why the criticism doesn't matter to us when you call us Nazis, Nazi this and Nazi that. I'm beginning to think they don't like us. You know what? I've said this before. We need to learn from the blacks.
The blacks with a hard R? Like when he says the blacks, it sounds racist. Like I can say the blacks. When he says it, it's like, the blacks. You know who I'm talking about.
They don't like us. You know what? I've said this before. We need to learn from the blacks. The way they were able to remove the power from the N-word by using it. So from now on, it's, what up, my Hey, what up, my my God. Hey, what's hanging, my
please.
She follows it up with Nazi, please. They're getting real comfortable with the word Nazi.
It doesn't matter to us when you call us Nazis.
They want to own the word now. They want to take it back. Like the blacks have taken back the N-word.
See that, I'm beginning to think they don't like us. You know what? I've said this before. We need to learn from the blacks. The way they were able to remove the power from the N-word by using it. So from now on, it's, what up, my Hey, what up, my my God. Hey, what's hanging, my
please.
Getting real comfortable with it, just so you know. And the next video I'm going to show you is 2 separate videos, okay? One video is a speech given by Hitler about why the Jews must go. Okay? And the other one is a interview given by Stephen Miller about why the illegal immigrants must go. And you guys just tell me, do you see any consistencies between these 2 videos?
The Jew is the root of all our troubles. Without the Jew, our German schools would flourish, free from the corrupting influence that poisons our children's mind. German children would no longer go hungry, as the Jew hoards the nation's resources and starves our people. Our hospitals, overcrowded and strained, would have room again if the Jew were removed from our midst. This is the truth of the National Socialist movement proclaims. The Jew is the enemy.
What would Los Angeles look like without illegal aliens? Here's what it would look like. You would be able to see a doctor in the emergency room right away, no wait time, no problem. Your kids would go to a public school that had more money than they know what to do with. Classrooms would be half the size. Students who had special needs would get all the attention that they needed. There would be no violent transnational gangs. There would be no cartels. There would be no Mexican mafia. There would be no Serenos. There would be no MS-13. There would be no TDA. You would be living in a city that would be safe, that would be clean. There would be no fentanyl. There would be no drug dens. That could
No drugs, no fentanyl, no nothing.
future Los Angeles could have, but the leaders in Los Angeles have formed an alliance with the cartels and the criminal aliens.
Do you see what they're doing on Fox News? Do you really think if every illegal alien left tomorrow, there'd be no drugs? There'd be no homeless people? There'd be no line at the emergency room? Because that's what they're spreading to people. That's what they're telling people. You guys want to see, what's his name, Robbie Roadsteamer? This guy going to try to fight him. Attacked by MAGA for singing Epstein plane.
I'm Gary the Guantanamo Gator. I love you. There's no need to keep trying to push me. Jeffrey Epstein plane. Trump was on the Jeffrey Epstein plane. He was chasing around young girls with ketchup on his ear. He even had South Bump here. Trump was on the Jeffrey Epstein plane. Trump was on the Jeffrey Epstein.
That guy looks so fucking sad, dude. Like his dad told him he couldn't afford a full-size plate carrier, so he's gonna have to wear this purse on his chest. What the fuck? Robbie Roadstreamer's pretty funny though.
I'm Gary the Guantanamo Gator. I love you. There's no need to keep trying to push me.
But Dad, I don't want to wear the camo purse on my chest.
Jeffrey Epstein plane. Trump was on the Jeffrey Epstein plane. He was chasing around young girls with ketchup on his ear. He even had South Bump here. Trump was on the Jeffrey Epstein plane. Trump was on the Jeffrey Epstein plane.
All right, and then probably the best analogy. You might not get it if you don't understand college football. But probably the best analogy of where Trump stands with MAGA after the Epstein frame comes from Shane Morris. Okay? Shane Morris, a college football analogy about Trump. And it's pretty good if you understand college football.
If you want to understand the Jeffrey Epstein scandal, I need you to understand college football. Every successful college football program is a pyramid scheme built on denial. College football fans will know exactly where I'm going with this. If you've ever been to Tuscaloosa, Alabama in October, you understand this is in your bones. The head coach, let's call him Nick because his name was Nick for a long time. Nick is not just a football strategist. He's a mythical warlord surrounded by acolytes, the boosters who have more money than ethics, the assistant coaches with connections to every single high school football program in America, the student body that's one White Claw away from a Paul Feinbaum meltdown, the alums who put the Bama A on everything. They wrap their Christmas presents in that classic black and white houndstooth wrapping paper. These are, after all, Alabama fans. They don't know how to read. They simply worship. It works, but only if they win, and more importantly, and more specifically, only if they beat Auburn. If they lose to Auburn, none of it works.
100% that's true. They might slip up and lose one to Tennessee or lose one to such and such, whatever. It doesn't matter. They lose to Auburn. Almost immediately, a portion of their fan base is like, Coach so-and-so's got to go. They got to go. And the problem is, in college football, even if you make a comeback as a coach, you're already on your way out. Because once you lose that first 5 or 10%, that's like, Coach so-and-so's got to go, time for new blood, blah, they never come back. So they're always anti-coach. Even if they say they're not, they always are. So the next time you mess up, that 5% becomes 10%. That 10% becomes 20%. That 20% becomes 30% until they're calling for your head. Tennessee goes through it all the time. Time for a new coach. Can't believe it.
Illusion collapses because Auburn is not just a rival. It is the rival, the only rival that will ever matter. The one thing that they all agree matters. You can lose to Georgia once in a while. You might drop a game to Tennessee. It happens. That's okay. You just can't lose to Auburn. Now, imagine Donald Trump as the head coach of the MAGA football program. It kind of makes sense. He's got the oversized polo, the sideline rage, the loyalty first staff of underqualified relatives, the donors who look like they run mattress stores but secretly bankroll political coups. He's built a winning record in the eyes of his fans by playing the same play over and over and over again. I alone can fix it. And for the better part of really 8, kind of 12 years, his assistants, Congress, his boosters, billionaires, and his base of QAnon cosplayers and Bass Pro Shop hats have happily clapped from the sidelines as long as he, quote unquote, kept owning the libs. But like all coaches who've coasted on vibes, there's always one game you can't afford to lose. For MAGA, that game was protecting the children.
Like Alabama has Auburn, MAGA, the game they couldn't afford to lose was the global elite pedophile ring. Especially as much as their influencers pumped it up. They're all on it. The Clintons made up the list. Oh, really? Then why did Bill Clinton put himself on the plane 24 times? Seems kind of silly, no?
This isn't my interpretation, by the way. This is the thing that they say loudly on posters, on podcasts, on weird, grainy TikToks by somebody who's got like 3 first names. Save the Children is their Iron Bowl. They've spent the past decade turning these weird, half-baked Reddit conspiracies about cabals and trafficking into a cornerstone of their brand. They claim to be waging the war on this elite class of PDOs, a code for anyone who they just don't like. And then they talked about Epstein.
How true is that? The pedophiles are just code for people we don't like for years and years.
College football. They claim to be waging the war on this elite class of PDOs, a code for anyone who they just don't like. And then they talked about Epstein the way college football fans talk about recruiting rankings, constantly, incorrectly, and with the emotional range of a WWE promo. So here's where it's a problem. When it came time to prove it, to actually take a real swing at the so-called monster they built their brand around, they fumbled the snap. And then they threw an interception on the next series. And on the next series, there were 12 players on the field on 4th down, so ended up being 4th and 35, so they punted. They lost by 50. This wasn't a close game. It was a blowout. They didn't even try or show up. Let's review. Jeffrey Epstein dies mysteriously in federal custody on an edited tape. A tape that is so sketchy that it makes the Zapruder film look like a Toyota Prius commercial. Ghislaine Maxwell, his alleged accomplice at this point, is convicted, but somehow her client list, the whole point of the conspiracy, is sealed tighter than Taylor Swift's back door. And instead of demanding transparency, the Trump administration does nothing. Well, actually worse than nothing, because they're letting it get memory hold like it's an annoying subplot in a prestige drama that ran too long, except this wasn't just some random subplot. This was the plot that they couldn't lose track of. They thought the fans wouldn't notice. Like, oh, maybe we won't notice that we just lost by 50 to Auburn. Trust me. Bama fans are going to notice if you lose by 50 to Auburn, and Trump fans are going to notice if you decide that, quote unquote, protecting the children is just not something you're interested in doing. Can you imagine for a moment, Ohio?
You remember when they tried to convince people that Hunter Biden had a tattoo of the Finger Lakes because he enjoyed growing up there, but that was secret code word for the Bidens and the Clintons using a submarine from the Finger Lakes to travel to the ocean underwater and take kids to Epstein Island.
State coach Ryan Day going on ESPN in an interview and saying, why is everybody talking about Michigan? Why do we care about meeting Michigan? Let's focus on the other football games we play. You can get caught with a burner phone. You can get in a motorcycle wreck with your mistress on the back seat. You can pay recruits in crypto. Hell, you can even lose to LSU every once in a while if you look like you tried. But if you don't show up for the Iron Bowl, the one the whole program exists to win, everyone starts asking if you're the guy.
Yeah, Three First Names is a Southern, a swing at Southern people, like Billy Bob Jack or something.
And once people start asking if you're the guy, you're already not the guy. And that's what's happening with the MAGA movement. This isn't just this mass defection. It's something kind of weirder. It's what happens when the boosters start whispering, when the assistants aren't defending you in the pressers, when the students stop painting their chest for you. They don't quit all at once. They just sort of stop texting you back. That's where Trump is. Not gone, not even going, but something's definitely shifted. Yes, they called in Charlie Kirk and they told him to stop talking about it. They managed to get a couple people in their core in line, but the fans, they're not going to stop talking about this. That's the problem with modern media. It's not like the 1950s when you lose a rivalry game and it only got covered on sports radio. Today, everyone has a phone. Everyone is going to be loud. And these MAGA fans, they're right. I can't believe I'm saying that. They know what's going on. They know something weird is happening. And the Epstein cover-up, because yes, it is a cover-up. There are some very powerful people who don't want their name anywhere near this. This is a crack in their system. It's the part where your base, trained for years to scream about hiding predators in plain sight, realizes that one of those predators was on the sideline with a headset on. And the funny thing is, Trump might survive this in the short term, at least, but the midterms are just around the corner. Trump's failure to manage this situation is going to ruin him and the party long term. Because any member of Congress who won't break away from him, ruined. Every single Democrat in a district that is closely held is going to beat this like a piñata. Coaches like Donald Trump, for a little while, can weather it. The name still sells tickets. The hat's still moving. In America, there's always another game to hype. But here's the thing. If you're a coach and you lose the one game that defines your entire identity, you don't bounce back from that. You just wait to get replaced.
It does make sense, especially if you think about it like college football coaches. And MAGA can definitely be associated with a college football fan base for sure. Also, unrelated to this video, if I get a bunch of back pay, I think I'm going to get a grill. What do you guys think? Would you guys support me if I had a grill?
Looks like Trump Dog. Yeah, it's tough not to fucking point some fingers.
Huge question.
He got killed while you were president.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so many photos of them chilling.
Allegedly hung with his staff. Allegedly hung with his staff.
The cope on.
Mariah wants me to get a grill. She said the other day we were talking about it, she said, "Smile for me, Daddy." And I said, "What are you looking at?" She said, "I want to see your grill." Yeah, your grill. And I said, "Rob a jewelry store, tell him make me a grill." It was a weird conversation. I'll give you that. I want the whole top diamond and the bottom row golds. Something like that. I don't know. Whatever you guys think.
Really hung with his staff. Allegedly hung with his staff.
The cope on Trump's innocent. The cope is fucking pretty.
The cope on Trump's innocent is pretty intense. I know these guys are fucking dickheads. They platformed him. They supported him. They did all this other bullshit. But at least they're questioning him on shows where other people watch.
While you were president.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many photos of them chilling.
Allegedly hung with his staff. Allegedly hung with his staff.
The cope on Trump's innocent. The cope is fucking pretty intense. Yeah, he did go to the island and he just hung out with the staff, dude. The staff said that.
The staff at Epstein Island said, yeah, Trump came there, but he just hung out with us. He just hung out with us.
Was the staff 12?
I know.
Somebody brought it up at a meeting, and Trump was like, "Are you guys still talking about Epstein?" It's like, that's crazy. There's so much other stuff going on. I can't believe you're bringing up Epstein. Are you serious? God, get a life. You guys are obsessed with this shit.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. We have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
No one even cares. Yeah, it's so long ago. The guy killed himself and he was innocent. What the hell?
So long. Just let it go, dude. Let it go. It's been so long. All right, guys. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being here. I'm going to go home and get some rest. I got to mow and weed eat again tomorrow. Still not done. Still not caught up. But at least my disability straightened out. So do not go and support the show while we're offline. I got it right now. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Thanks for being there for me when I was really struggling. That means a lot. So thank you guys. Again, you all have a good night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Love you. See you. Bye. Mail a sock. If you want to support me tonight, mail a single sock to Burt, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Working balls to call out the people on this
Scruff McGruff.
by name.
Chicago, Illinois. 60652.
Rest of the world, you don't have the forking balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to
Did I get the penis?
best, you know that stage.
Was that a penis made of beans?
Cause you ain't seen nothing yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen,
You guys don't remember Scruff McGruff?
wit in a 6 inch.
The Chicago crime fighting dog?
Praise the Lord.
60652.
Fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshiping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like.
Yeah, I got 100% permanent total, which I really fucked it up. Like, I filed the wrong paperwork and everything, and somehow they still gave it to me. I can't believe, after I've been fighting for goddamn 15 years, I filed the wrong fucking paperwork, and she's like, sorry, there's not much I can do for you. And the next fucking day I check it, and I'm 100% permanent total. I don't know. I don't know. 15 goddamn years. Now I feel like I should investigate why I got it. I feel like it's kind of a slot, you know? What, are you trying to label me over here? Feel like he couldn't even figure out the goddamn paperwork. Well, you expect him to get a job? What's he going to do in the application? Shit on it? Hand it back in? Who knows?
I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16 and high on amphetamine with Trump and
No, TRICARE is only active duty military. We should qualify for something called CHAMP.
This is gonna be
and it is a cost sharing thing. It's kind of like they kind of pay the same amounts that like Medicaid and Medicare pay, and then you pay the difference with a maximum out of pocket of $30,000 per year or something like that. I got to get the family signed up for. All my shit's covered through the VA, but the wife and kids will have insurance, and I'm pretty sure we can even buy low-cost dental through it. It's not free, but it's like a reduced rate dental if we need it, which I'm sure the kids will. Braces and all that shit, so.
You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Round 3.
TRICARE is DOD only. The VA has CHAMP.
Ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking. He was doing so well. It's all over. Hands on his shoulders. They ringing his bell. You got
it also means my kids will qualify for like 45 paid months of college, I think. Something like that. Mariah can qualify for it too if she goes within the next 7 or 8 years or something. But both the kids will have from 18 to 26 to get some college education.
Believing in reasons with no meaning is bullshit. Will Bird motherfuckers out here busting the grifts. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet.
You don't have those guts because you're a pussy. You're a pussy wearing aviator glasses in your mother's basement. And I won't even give out your dime store handle because that's really pathetic.